Hello and welcome to Year 9 Geography. I'm Mr. Jones, one of the geography teachers, the other being Miss Gleeson, who's head of geography, and this is the first lesson of the Key Stage 3 course. In this course we are going to look at South America and Brazil for the first half and then move on to tectonic activity. So to open our topic, we're going to look at South America, the continent, and a country inside that continent, Brazil. We're going to be looking to do some mapping today, identify some countries, activate some prior knowledge, and we're going to be doing some graph work. Okay, to start us off, an image to make you think. This is an image from Brazil. I'll give you that much information. Just have a look at it for 2 to 3 minutes. You can pause the video if you'd like. What would you like to find out and what questions could you ask? Alright, so it's a very interesting image. The first thing that stands out to me, and hopefully with what I talk about now can answer a few of your questions. The divide in class. What I mean is on the right we seem to have a rich, affluent area. We have tennis courts, we have swimming pools, we have story-high buildings. Whereas on the left we have what seems like small, put together by man, no machinery buildings. We have 2 to 3 cars. We have one road running through the middle, and then all it seems to be divided, this upper high class rich affluent area and this poor deprived poverty area just seems to be divided by a wall. Question might be, why is this bit so rich compared to this? This will be near the coast, preferably maybe a Rio de Janeiro style area. This looks to me like a hotel. Rio de Janeiro is a huge tourist industry because of its beautiful beaches, which then brings in opportunities for fancy restaurants, fancy clubs, and then these beautiful hotels. The sad reality is a lot of the local people of Brazil are on this side. These are people who have moved and made their own towns, their own illegal villages called favelas, and started their own little businesses here and work and live in these houses. This stretches for miles and miles, and this will stretch for a few miles to the coast. Why are these houses so close to this affluent area? Well, the opportunity areas like this bring is work, and we need to work to make money and make money to get out to the favela. So many of the people living here started with coming to the area to try and work in these different industries and hopefully get enough money to move into these industries. Sadly, that has not been the case. With low wages and difficulty to get jobs and prejudiced views on people from the favela, some people will live there all their lives, and children after them and children after them fighting for work in these different hotels, these different apartments, and working for more rich, affluent people. You might be wondering what's happening here. If you look down this road, you can see kind of markings and piles. This possibly could be the sewage system, which is also known as the road. As you can see here, we've got clean pools, a public pool. Here we might have sewage running down the street. This is human waste, animal waste, food waste. There was no proper drainage system set in these favelas as they were such a pop-up town. Hopefully I answered a few of your questions. If there are any more, please contact me and ask, or ask when I see you in school. Okay, so what we're going to do first is activate a bit of prior knowledge while also giving you a bit of support. So, in the middle of your page, I'd like you to write Brazil and please put a circle around it. We're going to be creating a mind map on everything you know about Brazil. If you want to test your prior knowledge, please have a go for about 1 minute to 2 minutes, just yourself. And then once you're finished with that minute or two, underneath this video, there should be a link to another video. And that should open up on your electronic device. It's just a brief summary of what Brazil is like, and it might give you ideas you didn't think of. If you have difficulty playing videos, you can also look online, search in Brazil, see what information you can gather. Please pause the video and take time to do that, and resume when you're ready. Okay, welcome back. So you should have a full mind map of Brazil and ready to dive into the topic. What we are going to do now, and this resource will be available underneath if you can print. If not, you can slightly try and sketch it yourself. If you feel you haven't got the space to sketch or the skills, you can just list them in your book. So what we're asking you is the South America political map. So political map means names of the countries. For example, this country here is Chile. So we've got Chile placed here, and we draw an arrow to Chile. Like I said, if in your book you just write number 1 Chile, number 2, this one here is Brazil. The way you're going to work this out, you can use Google, you can refer to other pieces of work, but you're going to have to work out how the names of each country. So either list them below or label like we have with Chile. So I'd like you to pause the video and complete that map, and then when you're ready, press resume and we will get on with the next part of the lesson. Okay, welcome back. So the question is, how does Brazil compare with the UK? We're going to use a graph to have a look at this, and we're going to ask you what type of graph we need to use. So the comparison we're going to make is the development of a country. So how powerful, how rich is a country? How advanced is it than a different country? So we have HICs and LICs. HIC stands for high income country, LIC for low income country. I'd like you to draw a small T-table graph in your book. Just a T-table, sorry, not a T-table graph. T-table, my favorite table because it's the most simple. One line down, one line across. You can put HIC here and LIC here. I've given you 4 images on each side to identify what makes a HIC and what makes an LIC. So here we have photos of medical care in comparison. We have high technology with our computers. We have low amount of money here. We have high money here. A strong economy, or also known as a lot of money. The comparison of school. The comparison of jobs. What sort of jobs do you do in a HIC, the rich countries, compared to an LIC, a poor country? Please pause the video, and can you get 4 points for HIC and 4 points for LIC? Resume when you're ready. Okay, welcome back. So, what can we use to tell how developed a country is? We've used simple points then in our T-table. Now we're going to look in more detail. So we can use employment. Employment can be broken up into different sectors, and the 3 most common are primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. Primary sector, think of primary first. This is almost, imagine, taking raw materials. So you're looking at industries such as farming or mining or fishing. This is taking items from the world. It doesn't require preferably an education. It requires a knowledge of the land, but it doesn't require an education or a higher education. It is possible to do with hard work and understanding and experience. In the secondary sector is making things. So an example would be a steel worker. These are people who take the items that the primary sector is brought in, and then they can start to use them. So maybe steel worker, carpenter, think of jobs like this. And finally we have tertiary sector, which is more of a professional sector, doctor, teacher. A lot of these jobs you will need a higher education to apply for. So that's how you can remember that. Higher education, lower education, secondary, could be either way. So money, we have gross, 1 second, hello. Money, we have gross national product, GNP, how much money each person makes. We have healthcare, so better healthcare, people live longer, less babies die, etc. Infant mortality rate, 0 to 5 year olds. Education. Good schools, better education, can get a better job, earn more money. This is a cycle. With good schools, better education, better job, earn more money, you might then have children and be able to move into an area where there is a good school to send your child. They will get a better education, they can get a better job, they can earn more money, and the cycle will continue. So, employment in Brazil. We have the primary, secondary and tertiary, and we have the number of people in millions. 120, 60, 20, with the total being 200. To calculate a percentage, you divide the number you want to turn into a percentage by the total, then multiply it by 100. So to work out the first one, you would have to do 120 divided by 200 times 100 equals. You may use a calculator on your phone, or if you have a calculator to hand for these questions, and you will need to work out 3 different percentages. So what type of graph would be best to represent this data? Why? Why would you not choose some other graphs? The best graph to use for this data would be a pie chart. When referring to percentages, you like to see 100 as a whole percentage. In a pie chart, you can clearly see what will be taking up more of a percentage, more of a slice of pie, pardon the pun. So, you should have worked out our percentages as 60, 30 and 10. Now on to our pie chart. In your book, could you please you could use a coffee mug, you could use a wide enough glass. If you have equipment to draw a correct circle, please use it. But can you draw a circle with the numbers 0, 25, 50 and 75? You will also need a key of primary, secondary and tertiary, and can you make sure that they are 3 different colours? Please pause the video while you do that and resume when you're ready. Okay, so plotting our first information. As you see here, I have to identify where would 60% roughly be. I know between 50 and 25 is 75 is a 25 difference, so it's about 12.5 is halfway. So that would be about 62.5. So I know it's going to be just before that roughly. We're doing estimates because I'm not sure if everyone has the equipment to correctly use the compasses or protractors. So this is we're going to make a rough estimate where 60 is. So it'll be just before halfway. I join the line here, start with 0. So this chunk of pie will represent 60. I'm then going to colour that chunk of pie in, and I'm going to add our secondary sector, which we know was 30%. So again, I'm going to start here now, so I start at 60. So 60, I need another 30%, that will take me up to 90, which I've got to about here. Once I've got here, I draw the line. The next chunk of pie will be in yellow for secondary. This just leaves tertiary, which we can fill in with green at the final 10%. We then need to analyse the employment structure. I will read through it first and then I will leave it for you to complete. This pie chart shows that most people in Brazil are employed in the, so which is the biggest chunk of pie? The primary sector. This tells me that education must be poor because, what did we say about primary sectors earlier? They are full of jobs that don't require education. You will be able to fish, farm or mine without using school education. Whereas in the tertiary jobs at the top require degrees, they require higher education, such as a teacher, such as a doctor. So this means that people earn less money and the economy is poor, meaning Brazil is an LIC. Okay? So what did the UK look like? Rather than put stress on printing resources off, this is possible to colour in yourself. Redraw a circle, and it's very similar when you first look at it to the Brazil, but it's actually the other way round. Our primary sector is really small, and our secondary sector is in burgundy. And our tertiary, so that's the teachers and doctors, is in a white yellow colour. So again, it has the same structure. The pie chart shows that most people in the UK are employed in the tertiary sector. This tells me that education must be good because you require higher education to work in a tertiary sector. This means that people can earn more money and the economy is rich, meaning the UK is a HIC. What I finally want you to do then is this graph is different to the Brazil graph because, so you can talk about how it's opposite, there's more in the tertiary than there is the primary, whereas in Brazil the majority is primary and there's not many in the tertiary. This means, or which means, there is a better education in the UK, and this is the comparison between a HIC and an LIC. So, once you've got your graph drawn, please do your analysis for Brazil, copy the graph for the UK and analyse that graph, and you will finish with a comparison. You can rewind the video at any time to listen to advice on different pie charts or anything we've talked about today. Thank you for listening. Good luck with the work. Please send me any questions you have. Thank you.